next video. I've gotten a few questions from two different people, so I could do like a mini Q&A, but if you have a question that you want to ask, please do so either in the comments of this video, or you can go to my community tab and leave it there, because I did make a post about it, so you can leave your questions down below if you have any. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here with me, and we will get started now. Okay, so this case is about a man named Ronald O'Brien. He was born on October 19th, 1944. He died at the age of 39 on March 31st, 1984. He targeted young children that lived in his neighborhood on Halloween night, including his own son, Timothy. Ronald lived in Texas with his wife and his two kids, Elizabeth and Timothy. Elizabeth was 5 years old at the time, and Timothy was 8. Unfortunately, Timothy died on Halloween night in 1974. Ronald was very active in his community. He went to church, and he participated in the church's choir as well. He also was well liked by the townsfolk. Everyone who knew him liked him well enough, didn't think anything of it. So, fast forward to Halloween night of 1974, Ronald took his two kids out for trick-or-treating along with a neighbor and his kids. So they went as a little group. They eventually got to a house and the kids went up to the door. However, no one answered. So the kids decided to run ahead to the next house because they just wanted their candy, right? They're little kids. So Ronald stays back and the neighbor follows the kids. After a while, Ronald catches up with the neighbor and the kids with five 21-inch long pixie sticks. Ronald never mentions where he got the pixie sticks from, but he later claimed that he got them from the house that the kids went up to where no one answered. So, at the end of the night, Ronald gave each of the kids a pixie stick, one pixie stick each, and he had an extra one who he gave to a boy that he recognized from his church. So, Ronald and Timothy were, of course, back home, and Timothy, being a little kid, wanted to have some of his candy before he went to bed. So Timothy, of course, chose the pixie stick. However, he had trouble opening it because it was stapled shut. So Ronald helps him open the pixie stick and Timothy consumes it. But after having some, Timothy does not like the taste of it, and he complains that it's very bitter. And so Timothy starts complaining that his stomach hurts. He gets violent stomach pain, and he ends up running to the bathroom and vomiting. Ronald claims that he was with Timothy holding him while he proceeded to throw up, and Timothy went limp in his arms. So Ronald takes him to the hospital, but sadly Timothy dies in the car on the way. So now word catches on and people start to hear about what happened to Timothy and after eating some Halloween candy. So naturally people start freaking out about the candy, and they end up bringing the candy to police stations for police to check it and make sure that it's safe. pass away. Police were able to recover the rest of the pixie sticks from the neighbors' kids, as luckily they did not touch them. Thank God, thank God, thank God. Like, jeez, that was a close one. So, thank goodness, none of the other kids were harmed. Ronald did not get the pixie sticks from the neighbor. They came from Ronald himself. Big surprise. He stayed back from the group, and he had the pixie sticks, and he opened them, the top of them, and he put potassium cyanide powder and released them. Oh, and resealed them, sorry, using staples. So, like, that's just awful, just absolutely disgusting. Like, what the freaking hell? It's crazy. So he put the potassium cyanide powder in the first, like, 2 inches of the pixie stick. And so they, the authorities, so eventually the authorities were able to get a hold of these pixie sticks, and they brought them to oh my gosh, a pathologist who did some testing on the pixie sticks, and the results came back that the poison, that there was enough poison in the pixie sticks in the one that he gave his son to kill adults. 2 adults. So I cannot imagine the stomach pain and the absolute discomfort that this poor Timothy was feeling. That's just insane. And then the other pixie sticks that the other kids had, there was enough poison to kill 3 to 4 adults. Like, oh my God, thank God they didn't eat them. He claimed he did not remember which house they came from, so police got suspicious, and they found that no one on the streets that they went to were giving out pixie sticks. So Ronald ended up going around his neighborhood 3 times, eventually tells police that the pixie sticks came from the house that they, that where the kids went up to, where no one answered. So, that they knocked on the door, and just like Ronald claimed, that he went back and knocked on the door, and a man just stuck his hand out through the door and gave him the pixie sticks without actually opening the door fully. Obviously police were like giving him the side eye, because they were like, that does not sound right. So police did some more digging, and they found out that the house belonged to a man named Courtney Melvin. He worked at an airport, and he did not get home from work on Halloween night until 11 p.m. So that's why no one had come to the door when the kids were knocking. It was confirmed many, many times by people that he was 100% working on Halloween night. So, the police ruled him completely out as a suspect. So, police now were looking into Ronald as the #1 suspect, and they learned that he was $100,000 in debt. He had a history of being unable to keep a job, so he was not doing well in the financial aspect of his life. arrested for his son's murder and was charged with 1 count of capital murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. He pled not guilty for all counts until the end. A chemist ended up testifying against him, saying that Ronald asked him questions about cyanide and how it worked. A year before Timothy